Hey everybody, had a thought of something on my way home. You know how you get to driving in the car and you're thinking about things and everything. I'm thinking about Auburn right now this year. Like, is anybody else as surprised as I am at Auburn, the success that they're having? I mean, they've only dropped, like 2 games, and they got some impressive wins. They took down, LSU, which LSU's not amazing or anything, but LSU's a talented team. They went to LSU, took them down. They got a hold of what else was it? I mean, they played Penn State pretty close. I mean, Georgia, that game was what it was. Ole Miss this past week, I actually picked them to win against Ole Miss. I think they got Ole Miss at a good time because Ole Miss has been pretty beat up in their past few weeks. They've had to play like some really tough SEC West games, but so is Auburn. And Auburn's chugging along, and they're having this success. And it could be smoke and mirrors. I think we'll see how they got a big matchup at Texas A&M coming up this week. And Texas A&M, no slouch anymore. Ever since they beat Bama, they've been doing a lot better. I thought that I kind of wrote them off. Seems like they got their quarterback situation together. But anyway, so we'll see how they do against their Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a really talented team, and their coach Jimbo Fisher. I mean, he's a seasoned coach, and it's at home for Texas A&M. All signs point, I think, to the Texas A&M win. But Auburn's been playing in some pretty tough stadiums too. They played at Death Valley, and then at Happy Valley, and then they played in all kinds of valleys this year, and they've come out on top pretty well, and had I think doing about as good as they can this year. I kind of thought Auburn would suck this year. Last year I wasn't so sure about this Brian Harsin hire. I mean, you get the guy from Boise State, and Boise State is what they are. They're one of the better Group of 5 teams. But I mean, it's not like Brian Harsin has kept Boise State at the top of the dang ladder like like they used to be. Boise State anywhere near what they used to be. So he hasn't, he's not been bad there. He's just hasn't really done anything special. So I was like, what do they see in this Brian Harsin guy? And, apparently he's just a culture fit, and they want a young guy. And, Gus Malzahn he was doing all right, but he wasn't really recruiting all that well and everything. Could beat Bama every few years, every so often. Every other year, really. So I thought that was kind of a risky move to get rid of Gus Malzahn and take a chance on this Mountain West guy. But he comes in and makes a bunch of hires from like SEC retreads. I'm like, oh God, he's cobbling together coaches from South Carolina and whatnot. And they basically raided South Carolina's coaching staff to go to this one. That coaching staff last year, I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about. I mean, South Carolina was terrible last year. That doesn't mean the coaches are necessarily bad. Apparently, they're pretty good. They can put together a pretty good program from what I've seen from Auburn so far. I'm just sitting here looking at how, good they are, and I'm like, geez. I mean, I'm just surprised at the success that they're having, and they're pretty consistent with how they've been playing, and they've been playing with Bo Nix, which he gets a bad rap, I think. I don't think he's as terrible as everybody, makes fun of him, but it seems like Bo Nix has improved. They're getting more out of him than Gus was able to. Gus Bus, which, by the way, Gus Bus not doing too well there at UCF. I'm interested to see how that goes, but we'll see. And anyway, they've been pretty well a lot of the time. In head coach's first year, at a program that's not like at the bottom of the barrel, they'll be pretty good or all right or whatever, but you'll see inconsistency. Just like with Texas, they got old Sarkisian down there, and Texas has been pretty inconsistent. They've been, kicked ass. They gotten their ass kicked. They've blown all kinds of leads, and that's the kind of stuff you see. And I'm sure Texas will get it together. And I'm just rambling here. I'm freaking sitting in the car, man, on a long drive home and thinking of just saying what I'm thinking. But anyway, for whoever wants to listen to me talk about the random thoughts in my head, you the man. Appreciate you. But anyway, I'm just surprised I'm just surprised, and I don't feel like I haven't heard a single. I consume every like scrap of college football content. You know, I put it in my headphones at work and listen to it, and I haven't heard anyone express any amount of surprise for how good Auburn's been. I mean, they really weren't that good last year, and you know, I know they're not usually terrible, but it seems like a seamless transition, kind of from one coach to the next, which I expected there to be a little more volatility. Oh hell, an ambulance is coming. Let me get over. Anyway, oh god. Okay, he's going around. This is the Sea Dog drive home, and all kinds of events are going on. But anyway, I'm interested to see how Brian Harsin does when it's time to recruit, because I think that's one of the big things that got Gus Malzahn fired, and Dan Mullen's coming under a lot of fire from, you got to recruit in the SEC. It's important. It's the most important dang thing, which Kirby Dunn was saying, and, you know, don't agree with Kirby Dunn a lot, but that's why Kirby, as dumb as he is, has had success, even though he's not a great schemer or whatever, and makes boneheaded decisions at quarterback. It's all the talent that freaking Georgia gets every year, and you can back your way into a lot of wins, even if you even if you get out coached, you can still out talent them and run them over. And now I've gone on a tangent about recruiting, but I'm kind of just saying that's how was thinking Gus Malzahn got fired, because they were at the bottom of the barrel. Like, it was embarrassing, some of the teams that were above Auburn in recruiting. So I'm interested to see how this Harsin guy can recruit. I mean, he's got a nice resume to show the recruits, like, hey, look at this. We come in here and been pretty good this season. And it is possible that the wheels fall off. But, I mean, and I haven't looked at the rest of their schedule or anything. I know they got Texas A&M, and I know they got Bama at the end of the year. And a lot of people are talking about Bama versus Auburn potentially. There's a freaking moth in my car all of a sudden, and it's trying to get out. Now I got to roll the window down, and it's raining. And oh hell, this video's gone off the rails. Get out of here. Alright. And they're talking about Auburn controlling their own destiny, possibly upsetting Bama and getting to the SEC championship. And I just can't believe we're here talking about this, and no one has mentioned it's a first-year head coach. It's just crazy to me. So, I thought I'd get on here for a second and ramble about how I'm impressed with the Auburn Tigers. Sure wish they would have beat Georgia earlier this year, but hey, I mean, we'll get them next time, I guess. But, their record against Georgia in the past few years has been disappointing. Of course, they took them down in 2017 and turned around and freaking lost them again in the championship. So it's like, damn. I guess we are not too far removed from them being in the SEC championship, but I don't know. I just kind of thought it would be, I already said this 100 times, I thought it would be a little rougher of a transition. But no, doing pretty good. So we'll see how this Auburn thing goes. They got Texas A&M coming up. I'm interested to see how that game goes, because Texas A&M trying to get it turned around. Auburn chugging along how they will. For the record, I think Texas A&M wins that game, but we'll see. All right, everybody, I've done ramble long enough. Go Jackets, which had nothing to do with this video, and I'll see you next time.